Blog Talk Radio.
Hello and welcome to all the listeners who've tuned in to Talk Radio Network with Joanne Vandermeulen for Monday, September 24th. I'm your host, Joanne Vandermeulen, coming to you live from Courtenay, British Columbia, as I do most Mondays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone. Well, listeners, again, we have a fantastic show, and I'm so excited to be your host and present Talk Radio Network with Joanne Vandermeulen and my very special friend and guest, Anne Nordhaus-Bike. Have you ever had a computer crash or unexplained emails not answered? I have. Are you blaming your provider or the recipient? May not be the solution. Do you know that if you follow your horoscope or if you're interested in astrology, this show is packed full of information the next 30 minutes, so stay tuned because you're going to get some answers here. Can we actually, though, gauge our time on the Internet while marketing according to the lineup of the planets, moons, and sun? Oh, do. Anyway, is there a better time to be on the Internet? And I'm sure of this, and Anne has the answers. So manage your time more productively. After listening to this 30-minute of powerful motivational speaker and astrology expert, Anne Nordhaus-Bike, you will discover the secrets of the universe. Many of your previous dilemmas will be simply explained, while a direct path to your future time management, when productivity should be emphasized, will be discussed. So in this evening's show, this is what you're going to learn. You're going to find out, you're going to learn where to find Anne Nordhaus-Bike and get the inside scoop as to her inner drive, more about Anne's personal testimony and her goals, and what is next for Anne Nordhaus-Bike. So now, on to this evening's show. I'd like to introduce, again, she's not only a special guest, but she is a very special friend. Anne Nordhaus-Bike, are you there?
I am. Hello, Joe. Wonderful to chat again.
Oh, your voice is just awesome. Like, I hear you, I feel you, your vibes, your energy is just there. And I'm sure you're going to let everybody know here about the planets and the sun and the moon. And, we need some secrets on how to boost not only our energy, but our time management, because I don't know. I've had some terrible glitches lately on the Internet. So we're going to get to those anyway. But, and one of your most helpful tips for using astrology to manage time, I know you've said this over and over again. You actually have a book out. It's called Follow the Sun. And it came out just this past year. Can you maybe tell us a little bit about what you mean by Follow the Sun?
Yes, absolutely. The reason actually that the title came about was to really provide a simple way for people to plug into astrology without having to become an expert in very, very short order. You can actually start using astrology to improve your life and manage time and all kinds of other things. And so one of the things that's really great is if you simply know your sun sign, that's the sign that you read when you read your horoscope in the newspaper or something like that. You are really far along in knowing kind of how you look at time, how you feel about time, how you handle time. And so most people already know what their sun sign is. But if for anybody who does not know, we actually have a place on our website, which is www.anbcommunications.com. At the very top navigation of every single page, there's a section for astrology. It says get your free birth chart. And if somebody goes there, there's a really handy, simple chart there that gives the approximate dates for all the signs. So anybody who's unsure would be able to check that. But I will say that right now the sun is in the sign of Libra, and that's because the sun just went into Libra this past Saturday, which is very cool. We just had an equinox. That's what happens when the sun goes into Libra every year. And so anyway, basically following the sun means step one, just knowing your sun sign. And most people have probably done a little bit of research about their signs, but if they haven't, there's some information on our website under our newsletters. Every single sign has been covered in a newsletter on our website over this past year that gives some tips, a little bit of information about the signs. For example, Joe, we know you're a Capricorn from the last radio program. And we know that's an earth sign. And so just from a really simple standpoint, if you know you're an earth sign, the other ones are Taurus and Virgo. Anybody who's born under those signs, for example, those are really practical signs. It's like, show me the money, show me the practical steps. And you even said it on the introduction to this show tonight, which is so cool. You said your books, people say how great they are because they save me tons of time. The whole topic we're talking about today, time management, that's so Capricorn. It's like, you're the sign that says time is money. And the other earth signs do too. So basically, when you're following the sun, you're following your own sun sign. You're being very true to yourself, just paying attention to what your essence is as a person. Knowing your sun sign can give you that really, really simply. So basically, that's step one of follow the sun.
Cool. It is just so cool. It's a whole new study for me. And ever since I had you on my show last time, Anne, I've really taken an interest on not only, like, say, my birthday, but, like, the time that I was born and my sun sign and what it means. And it's just been bang on. Like, everything that I do. And, yes, time management to me, I always say to everybody, my time is valuable. I love to help other people. I do not find that a waste of time. I love it. One thing that I do find, like, maybe is, and I don't mind getting stuck in traffic because, like, a lot of people might say, well, that's a waste of time. But I don't consider that a waste of time. It's my time of reflection. And I also think, you know what, maybe I'm not supposed to be at point B right yet. Maybe there would have been a car accident or something. Like, I always look into it saying, you know what, whatever is happening now or the reason for it is meant to be. But there are certain factors outside that, you can just tell some people. Like, I'll give you an example. I had this person who asked me to meet for coffee, and I thought it was genuine, like a friendship thing. And, like, I went, like, 3 times with this person, like an hour each, and, as a friend. And then at the end of the 3rd coffee break, she says, well, when are you going to sign up for my sales? She was doing some online sales gimmick, and I was like, excuse me? I was blown away. I was like, you know what? I'm insulted because I really thought it was a genuine, authentic friend thing, like we were talking and everything like that. But actually, she needed something from me, and yeah, she hooked me in like line and sinker. So, time to me, yes, you're right, Anne. Time is money to me, and whenever I write anything, and when I see things, like even outside, like it's like, oh gosh, there must be an easier way. And that's how I invent or create new businesses, new inventions, because I think, you know what, there's got to be an easier way, because you know what, this is just too difficult. Anyway, enough about me. Knowing your own sun sign is really important for time management. Now tell us about the other part of follow the sun. And how can all make that work for us to manage time effectively?
The second piece of following the sun is knowing where is the sun right now, because that's what astrologers call that is they call that a transit or the transiting sun, transit meaning movement. We all know, of course, that the sun's not really moving, we're moving, but astrology says that the sun is moving because standing on Earth, that's what it looks like. So every month it passes into and through a new sign. And so I mentioned earlier that the sun right now is in Libra. And so if you know that, what's really great about Western astrology, that's the type of astrology that I work with. And by the way, there's a lot of different types of astrology. There's something called Vedic astrology, which is India. There's the wonderful animal signs that are involved in the Chinese zodiac, but what we're talking about here is Western astrology with the signs of like Libra, Capricorn, etc. That Western astrology is based on the seasons, and what's so cool about it is if you're paying attention to where the sun is right now, you are automatically putting yourself in harmony with the rhythm of the seasons and timing. So, for example, when the sun is in Libra, This is a sign that it's symbolized by the scales, and this is a sign that wants balance. But the other things that it's about are things such as love and beauty and the arts and relationships, because this sign is ruled by the planet Venus. And by the way, these kinds of background things that I'm saying about Libra, these can be found on my website under the newsletter section. The archives are very clearly listed, so you can easily find information. The Libra issue just came out. It'll post on my website in a few weeks. But for right now, basically all the signs are covered there. And so Libra time, for those of us who are working online, this is a great time for us to be thinking about Libra issues such as beauty. Well, for example, are the covers of our books or our products beautiful? Or is our website inviting and lovely? The other big thing with Libra is relationships. And you were just talking about this great example where this woman invited you and you thought this was sincere and on the up and up. You were looking to create a relationship. That's very Libra energy. Libra wants to have harmonious, beautiful, diplomatic relationships. So this is a wonderful time for all of us to be thinking about those things. So I think it's really interesting that that example actually came up right now. So just knowing that this is Libra time, what this tells us is for the next 4 weeks, it's a good time to be thinking about those kinds of issues: beauty, pleasure, socializing, having fun, relationships, all kinds of relationships, marriages, partnerships, business kinds of relationships. Those are the important things for us to think about right now.
Wow. You know, you just saying that, I had an awesome experience this morning. The listeners out there, I was saying to Anne, I climbed a mountain and climbed down a mountain today. And she says, no, you didn't. I said, yeah, and I went fishing. But anyway, just last night, this friend of mine asked me to go fishing today. And I just said, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to turn down fishing. I had no idea where we were going, but I didn't care. And I said, as long as I can make it back for the show, I am fine with that, and I'll put everything to the side. So away we went. And, yes, I have developed, just a huge amount of relationships just lately. And, and I don't know if you've followed what has been happening with me, but I actually had an encounter with a real wolf out in the wilderness.
Oh,
and I've been doing, it was cool. I was in a boat, so I was safe. Just to make that straight. But it was really, really cool because the wolf called me. Like, I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm really out of it here, but I was in my sleeping bag, sleeping on this boat, and this wolf called me, and I woke up, got out of the sleeping bag. And you know what? I said to my friends, I said, you know what, you guys, there's a wolf out here. And they just kind of grumbled, and they said, yeah, right, Joe, it's a foghorn. I'm like, no, it's a wolf. And it was like first thing in the morning. The mist was coming off the water. The sea lions were coming to the surface. They were as they were coming, and they were diving down for their salmon. The mist was coming off. It was just hot. It was just so serene. And this wolf was so loud, and then all of a sudden the wolf came out along the shoreline and walked. It must have walked, I would say, the total length of a football field in front of me. And you know what? It was one of those experiences like, oh my gosh, this is so spiritual. And I looked it up afterwards, and apparently a wolf is a sign of courage. It's a sign of strength, and it's symbolic in the way that I am supposed to listen to my inner instincts, and I'm on my way on a new journey, and the sense of smell. And just this last month, like since I've met the wolf, and I've had like a few treatments too, is I can actually smell for the first time in like years.
That's huge. That's so cool.
Oh, it is so cool. So listeners out there, this is Talk Radio Network, and if you think that, you know what, astrology, the signs of the wilderness, whatever, you know what, we need to tap into this. This is like a naturopathic remedy of all questions answered, and it's about time we did. Like these are things that I mean generations before have used to manage time and to solve questions and it's just Anne Nordhaus-Bike, you are giving us awesome amount of information here, and that this is what we need to follow today. So, and let's go on. Just knowing where the sun is right now, can that tell us more about how to actually gauge your time on the internet, like how we can actually apply this knowledge to sun to market online?
Absolutely. So a minute ago we talked about how the sun's in Libra right now, and that means Venus, relationships, pleasure, art, and beauty. Okay, how do you take it to the next step to make it practical? Of course, it's got to be practical for you and for me too. So to make it practical, you apply these Libra areas to what you're looking at in terms of your own promotional and writing work. So, for example, we know Libra is about pleasure. So it's a fantastic time to look at your work and think, are you getting pleasure from it? Do you enjoy it? And to take a look around your household and to look at your website and to look at your products or your books or whatever it is that you do. Are these expressing the most beautiful aspects of your ideals? It's a very, very idealistic sign, and it leads by being balanced and beautiful. And one of the most important ways that it balances is in relationships. Libra really prizes relationships. Now, the downside of this can be hanging on to relationships that absolutely really need to go. So when the sun moves into Libra, it's a great time for us to think about that. We may not even make a move yet, but we can start getting some realizations about what are the relationships in our lives? Who is the most important to us, and who is going to move forward with us as we go ahead and try to accomplish the things that are most idealistic to us? It's a good time to evaluate partnerships. Do you have an accountant? Do you have an attorney? Do you have a webmaster? Any of these people in your life, your business partnerships, because Libra is very, very tied to one-on-one partnership relationships. This next 4 weeks is a fantastic time just to take a look at all these resources you have. And if you have good relationships, it's a great time to honor those. Maybe a phone call or a lunch date with somebody who provides services to you, or just an email to say thanks for being in my life, to nurture and love and cherish those relationships. That is a great time, a great way to make use of Libra energy right now and to help your business.
You know, as you're talking, Anne, I can't help to think that Facebook, which, as most of you know, they're talking about like 1.2 billion people being on Facebook by the end of 2012. That's huge. Like that, you know, for those people that are selling products online or authors out there, if you have, you know, if you're trying to get in touch with your audience, Facebook is the number one place to go right now. Google Plus is really taking off, right? Like I switched my emails to Google Plus, Gmail, and the Pinterest is going like crazy. And the reason why I bring up Facebook is because Facebook is probably the biggest in relationships, and as women go, mostly like more and more women than men per se, really value Facebook or relationships in trust before they actually purchase a product. So just keep that in mind. Maybe this is the time that a person should be focusing more on Facebook than any other social media site. And, you know, Anne, another thing that when you mentioned about, studying your relationship, not only people like, say, like your intimate relationship or maybe even your relationships online, but people that are surrounding you to give you that balance, that wonderful feeling in life that you actually need in order to express and carry on the energy to other people. And I explain this in two ways. Actually, I got this from church a couple of weeks ago. It was awesome. The analogy was just great. The pastor said, people that give you energy are like tire pumps. You know, they pump you up until you're so full that you just all your energy goes flying out of you, and it just soothes and it just goes out to other people, right? Those are the people you want to be around. Then you got the other people, and he called them the vacuum cleaners, the ones that suck, you know. And he goes, you know, he did the whole action, like the ones that suck all the energy from you. And you know what? It was great because, you know, in my life I can see those people, and now because of that analogy, and what you're saying is now is the time to actually look at your life and say, okay, these are the people that are in my life. What people are actually tire pumps, and what people are vacuum cleaners. And let's get rid of the vacuum cleaners, and let's have the tire pumps. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that in you.
It's a great time to think about that. That's a great analogy.
So now that we've covered the sun, and I know I'm kind of funny in that way, and I love this. You know what? You give definite content here, and I think we make a really nice team for balancing because I'm a little goofy. Oh, anyway, so now that we've covered the sun, what can you tell us about the moon? How can we use its energy to help with marketing and timing?
In particular, this month, talking about the moon is very, very important because we are in the time of Libra, and Libra demands balance. And the best balance for the sun is the moon because we need both of them. We need daylight for activity. We need nighttime for rest. It's a big billboard that the universe gives us and tells us, here is the simplest analogy about how to balance your life. Make sure you get enough sleep, but make sure you get some activity. Come out in the light, but make sure you also have enough darkness and quiet time and solitude. And so the moon is a great reminder of that. And what's so fabulous about the moon for us as humans is it's visible. And when it's full, you can go out and see it. And there are wonderful things in ancient medical texts from India that talk about, they would actually give people a prescription saying, go out and look at the moon because the moon is cooling, nurturing, motherly, intuitive energy. And so one of the great things that it gives us, for any of us who are doing creative work or marketing kinds of work, the moon reminds us to connect with our emotions, and that's huge because emotion is such a big part of any kind of transaction and relationship. It also reminds us about the importance of balancing the intellect and all of this very verbal, heavy kinds of work that we do with intuition and images and the right brain, not just the left brain. It gives us the female, which is not just women. It's this balancing energy of being receptive for the male, masculine, active energy. And regardless of our gender, all of us need both of those energy. And Libra is such a great time to balance those. And I will say this is a wonderful time for us to be talking right now. There's going to be a full moon this Saturday, September 29th. So that's a great time to go outside and look at the moon.
Well, you know, Anne, two full moons ago, I was actually told by my naturopathic doctor to write down all my traumas or all my things that are really bothering me and to cut them up and then to actually make a fire in the full moon at nighttime and light them on fire, like throw them each in the fire. Can you, what was that all about?
That is a really time-honored and powerful, powerful ritual. The cycle of the moon starts at the new moon, and that's when the moon is so-called dark. We can't really see it for a couple of days when it's a brand new moon, and then because it's, the movement of these heavenly bodies, after a couple of days we can see it as this tiny, beautiful silver sliver. And then over the next 2 weeks, the moon appears bigger, 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 bigger. It's waxing. It's getting bigger for us. And as of the full moon, what it does is it reaches the high point of its monthly cycle. And what often happens at a full moon is that information, like one way to say it is that it pops. You'll have insights. And that's the most powerful time for releasing things, bringing things to a conclusion. And so if you're being told to burn these things, it's a time for, okay, I have reached full illumination about this situation. I'm very aware of what the issues and problems are, and I am ready to release them. And so that's very powerful to do it. And burning, of course, is bringing the alchemy of fire to it. And that's just a wonderful, wonderful way to do it. You're letting the moonlight, in other words, letting your intuition, letting your feeling nature help guide you through this process. It's not logical. It's not rational. And that doesn't mean that it's like irrational. It means it's other levels of our being. It's our spiritual side.
Yes, and that is so true. And to me, like, because I'm the type of person that is always thinking. I got to really shut my brain down. And I can think about my past, and I can think about, worry about the future. And I've been really, really working on staying in the moment. And this was one of the exercises that the naturopathic doctor gave me, because there were certain issues in my past that are done, and I got to just let them go.
Right.
So it was very therapeutic for me. And so for any of the listeners out there, get out there this Saturday night and start your list now. All those things you want to let go, just write them down and be ready to light them on fire. Anyway, we have about 4 minutes left, 3 minutes left actually total, before our live show goes off the air, and there will be about 5 minutes left after the live show goes off the air, and I still have sort of like a conclusion to do here, and there are two questions that I want, and I'd like to ask you your art with the birthday cards. So let's jump from the moon and Mercury and go to that, and then we're going to touch on the moon, go back to the moon and Mercury after our live show goes off.
Okie dokie. Cool.
Okay, so you know what? I know you're into this, the birthday cards with astrology and everything. In fact, your web design award won this year for the A&B Communications website. You also have put a lot of thought into the navigation and design to make the site both beautiful and easy to use so people can be inspired and get what they need easily and quickly. You're into a line, you've launched a line of astrology birthday cards which fit in well with the whole theme of astrology and time management. Tell us a little bit about it. You have about 2 minutes there, girl.
Okie dokie. Basically, I did 12 watercolors, one for each sign of the zodiac, and those are included in my Follow the Sun astrology book. But just in this last few weeks, we brought out all those 12 watercolors as birthday cards. They were available as blank note cards, but now they're available as special birthday cards. And the reason that's so important for all of us for time management is our personal year starts on our birthday every year. You start a fresh year, and it's so wonderful if you have, just imagine if you have an astrology birthday card that has the symbolism, the colors, and then inside the typeface has been specially chosen for each sign, and the color that says Happy Birthday Capricorn, for example. It's a green color. The typeface is perfect for a very corporate, very managerial Capricorn. You're setting in motion a beautiful energy for whoever you send that card to get them aligned with their own energy and to start a brand new year in a really beautiful way, and you're helping them balance with words and images. And that's why we brought them out, why I felt so strongly that we just simply had to have them available as birthday cards, because that timing, our year begins not just January 1st, but our personal year starts on our birthday.
So they can get these cards on your site, Anne?
Absolutely. There's a link. We have an outside service that does the fulfillment for us. But, yes, there's complete information on the website under the astrology section. At the navigation at the top, it says astrology cards and posters.
Okay, and if you could give our listeners just really quick your website. www.anbcommunications.com. Perfect. Listeners out there, please feel free to post our show and embed this widget into your blog or MySpace pages. And I encourage you to spread the word to others who will find this content valuable. Help us share the wealth of knowledge. Well, this completes Talk Radio Network with Joanne Vandermeulen. I'd like to thank our listeners for tuning in and my very special guest. Thank you, Anne Nordhaus-Bike.
Thank you, Joe. It's been a pleasure, as always, to talk with you.
Okay. Talk Radio Network with Joanne Vandermeulen will air live again next Monday, October 1st. Oh, gosh, it's already October. October 1st at the same time. The next show will air Monday, 6:30. Okay, now get this. This is my featured guest next Monday. She has appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show. Her name is Sharon Abbott. She's featured for her innovative concepts on positive communication techniques. But her expertise doesn't stop there. She's an amazing woman with a remarkable testimony. She's conquered her own obstacles. Today, Sharon, that's how it's Sharyn, is turning what was once a devastation into so many opportunities. Sharyn is the featured host to Village of Abundant Radio Network, and she'll join Talk Radio Network on Monday, October 1st, Same time to discuss more about conquering all obstacles. Now Shirin is writing her 18th book while traveling worldwide as a featured keynote speaker at national conferences. Her mission? To show others how shedding myths about self and ultimately discover their passions in life. While on tour, she is called the Entrepreneurial Advocate, teaching highly creative courses for those branching out on their own, like Speakeasy, Street Smart Sales, and Your Right to Write, and still finds the time to manage a light, leads the business development, which she has founded. So I'm talking this woman, she just blows me away. You know what? She's a tire pump. I want to gravitate towards this woman. Anyway, that's our guest next Monday, October 1st, Shirin Abbott. And, the show is still recording, Anne, so let's go back. Is there anything else you'd like to say about your birthday cards before we go back into the moon and the sun?
Actually, yes. The folks who handle the fulfillment are running a sale right now. Till the end of the month, it's 50% off cards. So this is a great time to go check out the website and look into that.
Okay. Let's go back to turning into the moon. Manage your time and emotions. Now, okay, let's talk about technology here. I've had emails, stuff that just hasn't even gone through, and they're just strange and unexplained events. Communications and technology are so important to writers and to everyone who's promoting a book, a product, or service online. What can you tell us about this whole area, Anne?
Well, Mercury is very important in astrology because it's the planet that is the closest to the sun, so it's zipping around really quickly right next to the sun. It's little, but it's really strong. And Mercury's symbol is this guy with wings on his helmet and on his feet, which gives you some of the symbolism of movement that's really quick. And so people with strong Mercury in their chart, quick thinkers, good speakers, good presenters, a lot of writers, Mercury is really important for them. And what Mercury helps us do is to communicate clearly, concisely. It also governs things related to commerce. And so that's really important for any of us who are putting a book out there. You want to not just have a book out there, but you would like to sell it too. So Mercury is very important. It can really help us with clear thinking and those sorts of things, and where it is right now in the cycle of where it's moving around in terms of the signs, because it travels through the signs just like the sun does. Where it is right now makes a difference. It's usually pretty close to the sun. It's often in the same sign. So it's very interesting. Mercury's in Libra right now. So not just the sun, but Mercury is telling us to think about relationships and think about beauty and think about writing and all those sorts of things, pleasure. But one thing to know about Mercury, and we have talked about this before, Joe, and so you're very aware of this, Mercury does what we call going retrograde about 3 times a year, and that means that it looks like it's going backwards. It's not actually moving backwards, but it looks like it. This is what you were talking about with your promotion for the show, and you're talking about emails having problems or computers crashing and those kinds of things. Yes, this can happen very frequently when Mercury goes retrograde, and it's really important for all of us to pay attention to that, and one of the best ways to work with that is simply to be aware, to know when the Mercury retrograde periods are happening. Then you can prepare for them, and then you're going to be moving with the tide instead of fighting it.
So when?
Yes. Get ready now.
Oh, no way.
It's not retrograde right now, but it will be retrograde November 6th through 26th. And so it's actually, as any of us in business, not just writers, but all people, it's really smart, especially if you've got a big online presence and social media, which is very affected by Mercury. You want to make sure, take note of those dates and prepare for it. Okay, so what happens is typical communication tends to run into problems. But so what can we do when Mercury is retrograde? How should we use this time? Well, there's some great things we can do. Every word that has re in it, R-E, is the stuff that you can do when Mercury is retrograde. It looks like it's moving backwards, so that tells us backtrack. So review, redo, rewrite, all of the re-words. That's the best thing to do when Mercury is retrograde.
How about refish?
Oh, yes! Sometimes it's just best to get out of the office. And actually, that is a great thing that you said that, because Mercury retrograde is really telling us to go within and to meditate, to get spiritual. And what you just said, going fishing, being in nature, getting some solitude, that is one of the best things to be doing when Mercury's retrograde. So make time for it. Even though it's going to be cold in November, maybe you can go fishing.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm not even going to wait till then. Anyway.
And by the way, the Mercury retrograde dates are listed on my website. If people want to go to the FAQ section under astrology, the last question is, when is Mercury retrograde? And I've got those dates, including the dates for all of 2013. So when you get your new calendar for the coming year, you can mark it.
Perfect. And for those people who are just tapping in here now, maybe just let the listeners know where they can find you.
Yes, www.anbcommunications.com.
Perfect. And let's do a little bit of plug here for your book, because you know what, you've been doing tons of promotion and marketing for your book, Follow the Sun, and it just came out this year. People are just gobbling it up. And not, you know what, it's not easy for us authors, you know, to market our stuff, but, you know, I see you all over the place. Maybe just as a last sort of comment before we actually totally go off the recording, you can let us, are there any tips or anything that you can leave with the listeners tonight? First of all, tell us a little bit about your book, where they can find it, and a tip for us to end the evening.
Absolutely. The book is called Follow the Sun, A Simple Way to Use Astrology for Living in Harmony. And it's available through our website, where there's links to every place you can get it, but I'll just name quickly. It's on Amazon.com. We have an author page there. It's on Barnes & Noble. It's available through the publisher, and it's available in some brick-and-mortar stores, but mostly online. But it's easy to get to all of those sites through our website. We even have a page that says where to find it, with dozens of links to stores all over the world, you know, online, where people can get it. And as far as tips, in terms of the book, I guess what I would say, the cover is one thing people might notice. The cover is a sunrise, and it's called Glorious Sunrise. It's one of my oil paintings, and so that gives you a tip-off from the get-go about the importance of color and the arts and the right brain. So I guess what I would say is, as folks take a look at the book and read through it, remember that it's not just about words, but it's also about beauty. It's about color. It's about art. Every page is a full-color page, and the color changes with every single sign so that you can tell kind of intuitively you're in a different place each month of the year. Basically, that's what I would say is during this Libra time, my one tip would be welcome in the arts and welcome in beauty and the intuitive side, and you will reap beautiful balance as a result.
Wow. And, you know, Anne, listeners out there, I know it's the end of September, but, like, October's rolling around, right? Then there's Halloween, Christmas. I mean, this is your time to pick up Christmas gifts. Perfect. I mean, Anne, your book would fit anybody, and whether it's a coffee table, you know, sit down read, back of the toilet seat read, you know, your own personal read. I mean, anybody could pick this book up and get so much out of it. So much.
Thank
and not
you.
just people not just people that are promoting or marketing themselves or needing to, you know, learn about saving time. I'm talking about just being darn interesting, and I love the idea that you've actually incorporated your artwork with the content. It's fabulous. You know, Anne, you would do so well here on Vancouver Island, because Vancouver Island, where I'm living, everyone is into you know, the natural. Like people call us tree huggers here because we're into nature, and we're into conserving the planet, and we're into the art, the beauty of of our surroundings, and it's just, you can feel it, you can see it in people's faces here, and your book would do so well out here. So feel free to plug away out here. I'm sure you're going to get a lot of requests for your book. And anyway, Anne, this ends our show. I know we could do a full hour, no problem. I want to again thank you very much, and I want to have you back on again there, girl. It's always a pleasure. Thank you very much, Anne Nordhaus-Bike.
Thank you, Joe. A pleasure, as always.
You're very welcome. Listeners out there, thank you very much for tuning in. And again, remember, tune in next Monday, October 1st. Fabulous show coming up. This completes Talk Radio Network with Joanne Vandermeulen, wishing all of you to conquer all your obstacles. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Blog Talk Radio.